Is it happy dog time? Psst. Is it happy dog time? Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, guys, it's time to dig into Andrew's gift to me. What do you think, guys? Are you ready for episode 2 of the KX250 restoration? I asked that question as though you've seen episode 1, and I know full well I haven't edited it yet, so. But anyway, yeah, this is the condition I got her in, guys. This is how she came, and I absolutely love it. Go back and see episode 1, and I'll talk to you about the history of me wanting one of these and all that. But today is Teardown Day. This is episode 2, is Teardown. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the whys and the what fors. I'm just going to get this thing apart and discuss with you any strange anomalies I find along the way. Like, for example, one thing I noticed right away. Look at that. You got a brand new cylinder stud bolt. Nice and shiny. And no engine motor mount plates. So what does that mean, guys? I don't know what that means. It's just something I noticed. So to start any disassembly project, you need a dump bucket. This is where you dump all your parts. All the hardware goes in there. All the, just basically everything that's not too big. Obviously the wheels and the frame parts will lay out on their own. But all the little stuff goes in that bucket and keeps it all together. And then later I'll peck through that bucket and decide what's going to get bead blasted, what's going to get pulled out and put in the tumbler, what's going to get painted, what's going to not get painted, etc., etc. Those decisions will all be made part by part, piece by piece later. But right now, today, the focus is just getting this thing apart. So there's the dump box. There's the trash pile. Here we go. Got my water ready. Why do I have my water ready? Because I'm doing swim training tonight for the triathlon. Got to be hydrated. Got my basic hand tools out. I was going to bring my zip guns back and work with my snap-on electric ratchets today, but I forgot, to be honest with you. They got the wrong fasteners in here. But that's okay. We'll get them out. That's trash. Whoever worked on this bike has been a Kawasaki person for a very long time. Say, well, how in heaven's name could I know that? Well, that is a Kawasaki bolt off of a mid-80s KX. Could be an 80, 125, 250, or 500. But these bolts are off of mid-80s Kawasaki's. And here it is on an 89 KX that did not use that hardware. So, neat little trivia. Now, when you pull these pieces off and throw them away like I'm doing here, guys, make sure that you pull these spacer collars off. These are wonderful little spacers that are very, very good to have. I've shown you this in other videos, but in case this is your first time with me, the reason these spacers are in there is so the plastic doesn't fracture. It's good. It's very, very good to have these spacers in there to give the hardware something to squeeze on. See that distance, that thickness of that washer? That's there so that when you squeeze it with a bolt against that plastic, the plastic has a safe place to live. If you took a flat washer without that shoulder and you just mauled it up into that plastic, you're going to mash that plastic to pieces. Look in here and see if we get any surprises. See if any alligators are living in here. I hate alligators. I got to do an open swim in the triathlon coming up soon, and I'm petrified because, anyway. Alright, no alligators. It does stink pretty bad. Whatever fuel's in there has been in there a while. Oh, let me take a second to show you why this is wrong. See what they did, guys? They just jammed a bolt up against that collar inside that rubber. I showed you this when you mount radiators, okay? Excuse me. See how that bolt is squeezing a washer that's squeezing a rubber mount? That's correct. That's correct. You got a bolt pushing a washer over a piece of rubber. This is incorrect. You just got a bolt squeezing the center and the rest of it's rubber. Well, that can wear and slide off and come loose and get damaged and have all kind of problems. Yeah, it's got water in it. I can see the water in the fuel. There's water in that fuel, but okay, the valve works. So we're good there. We got a good working valve and a good gas tank. So that goes over here in the heat valve. I don't store my radiator caps in the bucket. You see, I'm not taking that cap and just throwing it in the bucket like that, because I want to protect that rubber seal and the flanges and all from getting bent up. This radiator, this right one's in really good shape. The left one's in passable shape. They look good. I'm going to reuse them as long as they hold. So keep your radiator on the flange and just protect it and the flange by keeping it there. Take it off, make sure it's not rusted, you know, make sure the spring works and everything like that. Look at it like I just did, but put it back. Store your radiator caps on your radiator. It's safer. Okay, pipe looks pretty decent. I don't know what it is. Let's see what it is. Well, because it has that and that really intricate stamping there and cross-welded joints, I'm going to say this might be a stock pipe. We know we have compression from checking it on the other video. Let's see if we have spark. What do you think, guys? Let's see if this thing has spark. That's a big part of any dirt bike project, is just knowing you don't have to mess with the electrical stuff. So it would be awesome to know that this thing has compression going in and has spark going in. And that way all I got to worry about is cleaning the carburetor and making a nice fuel supply. So let's see if we can check this without shocking ourselves. And yes, we have spark. Yeah! Alright. So let's check this out. Let me show you guys how to check OEM wiring connections. See how this kill switch, all these dirt bikes work the same. The kill switch just grounds the coil so that it stops sparking. That's all they do. But look, there's 5 bullet connectors here. Just make sure that you don't have any aftermarket stuff in there. Back in the 80s, they used to sell a product called Answer Roost Boost. And the Roost Boost product would change some of the colors of these wirings. So, and there's your ground on your coil. You can't really screw that up. It's an eyelet that's obviously designed to go to ground. And you can't really screw this up. It's an eyelet that's designed to go to ground. And you can't really screw this up because it's a bladed connector. Okay, so there's only one spot on the whole bike for that blade to go, and it's right there. You can't goof that up. You can't goof these ground connections up. Okay. Alright. The only thing you could mix up are these 2 black and white wires that are both black wires with white tracers. But good news, doesn't matter, because they just go up here to this, and all that's doing is connecting a circuit across, is breaking and connecting a circuit. So whether they're the same or not, doesn't matter. See how they're both bullets going into 2 females on the same side of that CDI box? That's because they're literally, it doesn't matter. You can switch them. That's why they're the same color wire. But anything that you shouldn't switch has its own color and matches up perfectly. So let's just make sure you clean these connections up and put it back properly, okay? Set this coil down gently. See that little leader wire going out to get a good ground? It's weird that they didn't just do that internally. They had to run a separate external wire for that. That's weird they did that, but they did, so look out for that. But these, you can't screw these up, guys. They're eyelets. They're just designed to go to ground. You could put them on the same side of the coil if you wanted, or you could do like this guy did and have them on either end. It doesn't matter as long as they get to ground. Okay? So that's our CDI box, our kill switch wire, and our stator wires all separated. But most importantly, we know it all works. I talked to you about this in the Suzuki restoration video. Do not just leave your hoses clamped to the radiator. and then pull the radiator off as an assembly with all those hoses still clamped on there, go ahead, break them loose. You see all that dirt and powder? That's all got to come out of there and get washed out of there. So go ahead and break these things loose, guys, and make sure that rubber's not galding or molding up into that metal. Yeah, we got some air filter issues. Look at this, guys. Take a looky here. See how the base of that filter plastic is kind of loose and goofed up on that rubber? See that? And there's a little fracture there. So yeah, all that's going to have to come apart. You cannot have dirt sucking up through your air intake. Not only does it change jetting, but it lets dirt in the engine. We will not tolerate that. That will not happen. So yeah, this whole airbox assembly is going to have to come apart and get new gaskets and seals and stuff for that. What do you think, guys? The subframe looks straight to the main frame, but the wheel looks like it's turned. And as I walk up over the bike and look down, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like the subframe is straight to the swing arm. So I think the frame is fairly straight, and the swing arm's straight, and the subframe's straight enough to ride it anyway. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna turn this camera off and download it to the laptop so that I don't lose a whole lot of footage like I did the last time I did this, and I'll be back in a few minutes.